Hello heroes, Joe Smith here. Wow, been crazy couple weeks. Got several stories. Probably do a couple different videos here, short videos. But a while back, not too long ago here recently, Joe Smith done a video talking about how kids and teenagers are just like out of control. Seems like nowadays. Not all of them. Most of them are good kids, but there's just been lots and lots of news stories about uh, teenagers carjacking people and assaulting people and robbing stores and stuff. Just lots of stuff in the news about teenagers here recently this year. Now here, I believe it happened last week. Just kind of got some updates on it here, but Volusia County, Florida. Two kids pictured here, 14-year-old Nicole Jackson on the left and 12-year-old Travis O'Brien on the right, had ran away from a group home or foster home or something, and they had broke in to a house. Not quite sure if they broke into more than one house or just one house, but police were called to the scene. Don't know if alarm went off, someone saw them, or didn't quite catch how police knew they were there or that. But I guess police arrived before they had a chance to get away or run away from the house. But in the house, they found like a shotgun, a pistol, and an AK-47. And they got into a shootout with the police. Yes, that's right. These two little kids here, this little girl and tiny little 12-year-old boy, got into a shootout with the police. When the police arrived, the little boy had the AK-47, was shooting that at the police, and the girl had the pistol or shotgun and reportedly made a comment, something like, I'm going to roll these mofos like Grand Theft Auto or like GTA or that. Made some sort of comment referencing the video game. And in the process of shootout with the Volusia County deputies, Nicole Jackson was shot. They rendered aid after they got them both disarmed or that, and then they went and rendered aid and got her to the hospital. She is recovering in the hospital from a gunshot wound. And the little boy went before the judge here, was earlier this morning or yesterday, for the first appearance to kind of be read the charges, and he's being held for next 3 weeks at least, until further legal proceedings, guess you can call it. But just wow, these little kids that look perfectly normal, perfectly innocent looking, whole life ahead of them, not even teenagers yet, or barely teenagers, breaking into houses, being charged with attempted first-degree murder of law enforcement officer. They're going to be in juvenile jail or detention center, whatever they're called, till they're 18 or 21 at least, probably. Don't know. The girl may even get charged as an adult, being she's 14, and that 14-year-old boy that murdered that 13-year-old cheerleader, he's being tried as an adult, but that's a different state, so going to be up to the prosecutor there in Volusia County whether or not to charge the girl as an adult. Don't know if they'll try to charge the boy as an adult. He looks so little, they'll probably just charge him as a juvenile. But like, what happened? What happened to these kids to get to that point? Apparently, they already had some problems running with the laws or problems at school. That's why they were in this home setting, group home, foster home, whatever it was in the first place. But how do these little kids get to the point where they're like shooting at police? Was it something wrong with their parents? Are the parents absent or on drugs or out partying or something and not parenting the kids? Or is it the video games and the violent movies? I mean, she did reference the game, but that's kind of been a topic since like Mortal Kombat in the 90s, or that video games are causing kids to be more violent. But maybe some kids it is. Maybe a lot of kids, they don't really have that effect. Kids understand it's just fantasy, it's not reality, it's just a game. But maybe some of these kids, it's just too much influence for their young minds, and they're getting like brainwashed by these games and violent movies and stuff on social media and Facebook and that, to where they're just think it's cool to go out and go nuts. And the fact that prosecutors weren't prosecuting the rioters last year, the looters and that, and demanding, in fact, a lot of people were wanting it to be legalized to steal from places. Some politician, or no, it was Sex and the City star, what was her name, the other day was saying that it should be legal for poor people to steal from stores. Well, you got Hollywood TV and movie stars running around saying stuff like that, and you wonder why you got little kids running around shooting at the police. That's half the problem. LeBron and that woman from Sex and the City, forget her name, and AOC saying these people are supposed to be role models for these kids, and they're going out saying crazy things like, it should be legal to do all this stuff. It should be legal to do drugs and rob stores if you feel like you're too poor, and it should be legal to shoot at police and if you don't like the police. America, I mean, if these sports players and TV and movie stars and politicians are saying crazy stuff like this, as influencing kids, then those people no longer need to be sports stars or the TV stars or movie stars or politicians. They all need to be fired. They need to be defunded. We need good role models for the kids. We don't need role models running around saying crazy things and then hiring a bunch of white cops or armed security to protect them. And maybe some of these video games have got a little too violent or that. Maybe there should be, they got like age limits or ratings on them. They started doing like back in the day. But kids are still playing games or kids that are younger than the game rating are still playing them. And it's just insane. You got this story, add that, where was that, Ohio or somewhere, where that 14-year-old boy murdered that 13-year-old cheerleader. That was his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend or something. And had a couple other teenage girls tried carjacking a taxi driver or Uber driver or something. I think in New York City a while back, and then he tried getting the car back and got dragged down the road by the car, and then they ended up rolling the car, flipped it on the side, and the car owner driver was killed in it. And then the girls were more worried about, oh, I forgot my cell phone in the car, I better go back and get it quick, instead of giving crap about the dead person laying on the ground that they just killed. You know, back in the day, parents whooped kids for a hell lot less than this. That way they didn't turn out to do stuff like this. And that's a problem. They bring back the Bible and spankings in schools and childhood. Parents need to spank their kids. Go get a switch or a belt or something and give them whooping when they get busted for shoplifting. That way 5 years later they don't get in a shootout with police with an AK-47. And then you got kids like this that grow up to vote. And that's how crazy people, like Crazy Ice, gets elected. When is this going to stop? What's the solution? Heroes? When's this going to stop? How do we stop this? Post some thoughts, comments below. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe if you want. It's been Joe Smith, signing out.